Hello, everyone.
Guten Abend.
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to the talk show. Two
Welcome to
brothers.
space.
Yeah, space, the final frontier.
Yeah.
So, how we doing?
Me? For
Yeah.
the stream.
Well, I mean, both. We'll start with you, and then if anybody would like to comment in chat while he's telling us how he's doing, then we'll address it at the time.
So, catch up on rum news for now. So, two things. Several 3D printing newses.
Mm-hmm.
One, I've potentially broke the resin printer again.
Oof.
Outstanding. So, the fun fact, well, actually, it's taken out right now, so I guess I can just show you. This thing is what holds the resin, and it projects your image through this plastic, cures it to it, and then pulls it out. And as you can hear, it's like tight as a snare drum. Well, this whole thing that it houses into is bolted on here, this piece of plastic, and stretched tight as a snare drum. Well, the surrounding piece is freaking plastic. And you can't really see on the camera, but some of the plastic's like bowing from the tightness of that plastic film.
Right.
Resin on my fingers, that's great. So it basically like warps that plastic, and I've seen things on like Facebook groups and stuff that I'm in that plastic ends up like cracking and whatnot and causing leaks. So when I first discovered that, I was like, man, I should see if there's an upgradable alternative. Because a lot of the things in the 3D printing world, the factory model of whatever you get isn't the best, and there's always upgrades to buy.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and it was like $90 for like an aluminum one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dang, dude, I'm not gonna. I can't justify $90 more. Not at the moment. Like, we're barely have the funds to maintain the standard operations, so it's like, no, I'll just wait till it breaks or something, till I have to buy it. And it still isn't broke, but what did I do? Remember I told you I tore. I don't know if I did tell you that I tore the film when I was printing your item.
Mm-hmm.
So I replaced the film, put it on there, and I made your item, and then I made one more blue dog or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And then I let it sit there. Just the resin was sitting in there. And I've also had that discussion of I can't leave it sitting in there and then immediately start printing off of it. You eventually have to put it up. So I went to just pour the resin back into the bottle. So I went to go pull the container off that I just had in my hands. And it was like stuck to the frickin' bed. I'm like, what the shit? Sometimes it gets sticky, because it's a heated piece of plastic. Yeah. But no, it was really stuck. And as I finally peel it off, and come to find out it was leaking resin again. Which is what caused me to have to replace the LCD screen for like $100-something last year. And I'm like, God dang it, dude. Like, I printed two things. It's a brand new piece of plastic. What is going on? I clean the resin out, clean the bed, and I look at it, and it's like there's no holes or anything. It's still a pristine plastic. My only assumption is where I have to puncture it to put the screws in, that whenever it pulled tight, it must have like tore that hole a little more.
Yeah.
Or something. Or the plastic's warping so much that it's seeping around the gasket and coming out.
Yeah.
So it's either bad quality or something. But because it leaked, and I didn't realize it leaked, because it just barely leaked. It didn't like leak out all over the place like the last time it leaked. Like, I didn't even know it was leaking until I took the whole thing off.
Yeah.
What's up, Gert?
What's up, Gert?
And what it did was, so like on your phone, mine's a terrible example. You can see my shitty foam screen protector coming off.
Right.
Well, for those that don't know, typically your phones already have a small protective film on it. It's not just direct glass. Which is why if you shatter your phone, it doesn't just shatter off into a million pieces because it has that film on there. Well, so does the LCD screen. And what it did was because that resin just sat there, it ate around the edges of the film that's already on the LCD screen.
Right.
So now, like a half an inch all the way around, it was like peeling up. So, worst case scenario just means I basically now have a smaller print bed until we replace it again.
Right.
But it was definitely the hit the FU button like a button on your desk, like the bullshit button. Or are you just saying he said fuck you when he answered? So the hindsight 2020 thing. Whenever I did have that leak back in the day, and I determined that the screen was bad. Oh, he ignored your call. Okay, he might be talking to somebody else. He got 17 kids to call him.
Wow. Yeah.
When I was replacing the LCD screen because of the last leakage, I guess you could say, got in a hurry, and I put the screen on there, and you have to put this special tape around all the edges and shit. And,
right.
And then I redid the plastic on the resin holders, the whole works, just brand new everything. Well, I forgot. You could basically buy like an iPad screen protector to put on the LCD. Well, I forgot to put that on there before I taped it all down.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, honestly, now I know my mistake. I shouldn't have any leaks. I'll just wait until like this tape starts to wear off or something, and then when I have to retape it, I'll put a protector down then. Well, now, because I didn't put the protector, that's why like the natural protector on the screen is all fucked now. So it's like, great. So I caused $100 problem because I tore something in there last year, replaced $100 part, and then was too lazy to just take off all my tape and start over and put a screen protector down. Thought I'd be fine, and now it leaked again, and I'm like, swear to God. So now I potentially need another like $100 part, and I feel like I need to buy that $90 aluminum resin holder.
Yeah.
It's moments like that it like frustrates you to the point that you're like, man, I'm about to just sell all this and buy a regular printer.
You ought to look and see if you can find somebody selling like broken like parts resin printers that maybe you can just rob the screen off of one of them if it's got a good one.
Yeah, but
it's worth looking for,
Yeah, I mean, it's always possible, but I don't know. I can't imagine something being broken onto that you're going to sell it for cheaper than the LCD.
Hey, you ought to talk to your 3D printing buddy out there and see if he might have a fix for it. Maybe he knows how to replace that screen and not, without like, having to replace like the whole assembly. Maybe just like the cover.
It's
Cupcake. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ashley.
No, it's like replacing the LCD touchscreen on your phone. Like there's no alternative.
Yeah.
Once it's fucked, it's fucked.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. They can replace just the screen without having to replace the entire phone. Well, okay, yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. Fair. But hey, maybe he knows, somebody that's got, spare ones or broken parts. Maybe he's got.
Well, the problem that I found the last time I had to order one of these is that I didn't get a like mass-produced 3D printer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the like one-of-a-kind, like special run series basically. So finding parts for it is, it's like finding parts for my Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass. But in other news though, so speaking of your blue, if you want to hold it back up, or I got one here. But so yours, I think I had the same kind of lines that this one has.
Yeah.
But I'd been
it's got
trying to figure out why it has the lines. No, those are Those are muscle lines. I'm talking on the side.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I've been curious what causes that, and it's kind of a weird explanation. But basically, so when this thing's printing upside down like this, it gets liquid resin on the inside. And they
then
were saying that
pulls up and the surface tension kind of like messes with it.
no, what they're saying is that if the resin is still moving at all whenever it goes to make that next layer, so because this is printing hollow, when it's getting to this, like what are the lines here, when it's getting to this point here, this whole bottom section doesn't exist. So there's still liquid resin in the middle of the body that can slosh around as it's printing that new outer layer.
Right.
And they're saying that if there's resin moving, it causes that. And so there was a couple solutions to it. One was like you can increase the delay between layers to give it more time to calm down. So they said you just basically add like a 1 second delay to each layer.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's a nice, easy fix. You know, it'll take, a couple extra minutes in total, but have a pristine print instead of this weird line stuff.
Yeah.
The other solution, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I mean, it kind of does. He was saying that basically you could have like a vacuum effect. So like this one has a drain hole on the top. So that way when it's done printing, it sits there and slowly drains out all the excess resin before I take it off.
Yeah.
And
it'd be good to have like a small hole in the bottom as well, maybe. So it's
well, that's what they were saying, that if you don't have a hole in the top, it can create a vacuum. And I was like, hey, I guess I could see that. It's said to be the whole thing has a big ass hole causing a vacuum as it pulls up,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'll try and put like a little bitty pinhole, one that you don't really have to like print the cap, just kind of fill it with some filler.
Yeah.
Just a little pinhole to help with the vacuum effect. So, but yeah, so learned that today, how to potentially make this look better. And so, but first I gotta fix the dang printer. So, kind of in the same 2-day period, I found out the printer was broken and how to print better.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's how those things go sometimes, unfortunately.
But yeah, pretty sure that's it for RUM-Gaming news. I mean, server's still running, still looking for people and testers and suggestions. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it for printing. I broke the printer again, and I figured out how to print better.
Bummer, dude.
How's your printer doing? Still being lazy?
Yeah, still being lazy. I need to get it up. I really do. But I will say, in some good news, I'll show off a recent print that I received from Goat.
Yeah.
I got some controller pieces for a VR gun stock. So there's one of the controllers. Here's another one of the controller. Here's like a connector piece. So this company.
Here's the butt stock.
The butt stock. Yeah. Oh, you saw. Okay. Well, I guess that answers my next question. Whether you can get that out.
No, yeah, it's been ice everywhere, so I was gonna wait.
But all the little pieces. So this company actually makes their gun stock available to 3D print yourself, and you can buy a do-it-yourself kit that comes with like the metal tube and the magnets and all the little accessories that you'll need to complete the kit, and then you can just print the main parts. So that shipped just the other day, so I'm excited for that to come in, and then we'll give it a shot. I'll have to makeshift a butt stock for the time being.
So, real quick to go back to Gert's suggestion, it wasn't really a question, but to explain why a suggestion wouldn't work. So, Kurt, have you ever replaced like the LCD screen or just the glass on a phone? How the resin printer works is instead of the back of my phone being here, if it was just the skinny part being the LCD, this LCD sits on top of the printer, and beneath it, instead of it being the phone computer parts, It's just a whole series of blacklight bulbs. And it shines, or not blacklight, UV. So it shines UV light through the LCD screen that it's projecting an image on. And so whatever the light doesn't touch, or whatever blocks the light, gets cured right there. So it's not like the touchscreen I use to control the printer. It's the LCD screen that actually, like, UV light shine through to cure whatever you're trying to make.
I'm trying to see if I can find like a really cool. How do resin printers? I'm trying to see if I can pull up a cool and interesting little explanation, like in picture or something.
I mean, I have a picture that shows the lights shining through it, I think, still. That's the curing station. How far back was it? I might not have saved it. I had one when I was trying to figure out the problem.
So what I'm looking at.
Well, not specifically to show you what ours looks like.
This one looks kind of interesting, but it's not exactly how.
I mean, that is. That is how it works.
Okay, what about here we go. So this is the same kind of every different printers do it differently, but the LCD, like he's talking about, has the UV light with a transparent screen that projects an image and then blocks off UV light in certain areas and lets it through in certain areas, like a what are they called, like a stencil almost. And the UV light goes through the stencil and cures the resin, and then the image will change based on what the file is, and that's how you get such high resolution prints, because it's not like a layer by layer type deal. I mean, it is, but it's a lot smoother of a transition.
Yeah. I kind of had the picture, but yeah, I thought I had the one that I could actually see the bulbs underneath. But it's really weird. It looks like a carton of eggs turned upside down is what the UV lights look like on the inside. They're all like round domes. But yeah, so yeah, if it was a matter of like rigging the control panel, that'd be one thing. But in this case, it's the transparent LCD screen that the image gets projected on. But yeah, so back to getting on topic though.
Yeah.
Last week's topic, we discussed the Army MOS, or interesting and weird, and ones we wanted to know more about, Army and Navy MOSs.
Yeah.
And this week we wanted to continue that and discuss the Air Force and Marine ones that both of us, I feel, had limited knowledge on.
Yeah.
Wanted to jump into that. I chose Air Force because my kid is most likely going to join the Air Force when she's 18.
Yep, and I chose Marines naturally because it's the Department of the Navy.
Or at least that's how they started. But yeah, you want to jump right into it?
Yeah, we can jump right into it.
Who went first last time? Was it you?
I think it was me, but I can go first again. Doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying I'll go first.
All right.
Swap it up.
Let's change it up. Let's mix it up.
So first I wanted to point out that the Air Force MOSs are similar to Army, but weirder. So I pulled up one list that shows things that are like a number, 2 letters followed by XX, and then another one that's 2 numbers, a letter, and a single number. So I really don't have a rhyme or reason as to which one's which, whether like one's the MOS and one's a descriptor or what, but it was kind of interesting just seeing how all the different MOSs, because like when I was in the Army, I thought everybody's was the same.
Yeah.
And then we went over yours last week and realized that wasn't it, and then I look at the Air Force and it's completely different.
Well, I can tell you just right now that the Marine Corps is very similar to the Army's. It's four digits. The first 2 digits will tell you like which, sector, and then the 2 digits after that will tell you what job within that sector.
So the first one on my list, some of these I was pulling out, just for interesting ones that I think my kid might be interested in, as well as just interesting in general, because I don't remember seeing anything like them with the Army or the Navy. My kind of summary of them was there's a lot more like office positions, in my opinion, like desk jobs, I guess you would say.
Yeah, going through the extremely long list of MOSs for the Marines, there were a lot of desk jobs. Yeah.
Well, so like it seems funny because like in the Army, they almost like simplify it to a point that's very easy for them, but can kind of, I almost want to say, screw over the soldier, because they just have like office clerk and like that's it. No other breakdown to that. You might be a parts clerk, you might be the general secretary, you might be the ammunition and weapons clerk. Like
Right.
just it's clerk everywhere, and it's just clerk.
Yeah.
And like you never really know which kind of clerk you're going to be. You just go somewhere and they're like, "Oh, congratulations, you now work in the motor pool. Oh, congratulations, you now the secretary to the first sergeant." Like you never know which
there's no
clerk you're gonna
specificity
be.
there. Interesting.
So, that's kind of what I'm noticing with a lot of like the Air Force ones. It's like they just actually break it down to each individual job instead of just calling you a clerk.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing, like, at least, I don't know if this is the case nowadays, but when I was in the Navy, I was told that you can, like, obviously you can transfer branches if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain designations that you have in the Navy, like jobs that you have in the Navy, that if you have that job, you can't transfer to Air Force because you're overqualified. Because your one position that you do in the Navy is the same as like 3 or 4 of theirs.
Well, then in that case, the Army's overqualified for everybody. You're a driver? What do you drive? Everything.
Everything.
But shit, remind me whenever we start on yours to go find my license. I don't think I've shared that with the class since we started doing these things.
Yeah, I don't even think I've seen that.
Well, anyway, so the first one on my list is a 3 November 0 X-ray 1. Good luck remembering your MOS in the Air Force.
Yeah.
It's public affairs.
Okay.
Just simply, like your standard civilian public affairs, helps to shape the Air Force's public image by building relationships within the community and managing various media. So I imagine you're maintaining like the Air Force Facebook page and shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It'd be, again, when you talk about transitioning out of the military, that's kind of what was impressing me about the Air Force. Like you can go into something like public affairs and then transition out and then also be public affairs.
I noticed the same thing about the Marines, like just going through the list comparatively to like the Navy and what I went through the Army. There's the Marines have a significant amount more jobs and positions than the Navy does, significantly more. And it's really some of them that I came across. I have a couple of them on my list too. That it's like I put that in there simply because of the civilian applications that you can have once you get out. Like how success. So continue. I'm down with this.
Which ties into my next one. Was another similar one that you could carry afterwards. Is a Forward Delta 0 X-ray 1, a diet therapy.
Okay, yeah, nutritionist.
So, nutritionist. So performs duties in nutritional medicine service to include procuring, storing, preparing, cooking, baking, and serving regular and therapeutic diets.
Yeah, man, that's valuable, especially these days. Everybody
Air Force
wants their own
dietitian. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants their own nutritionist. That's a very, very valuable skill these days. That's big money.
Yeah. And
Nutritionists
something
make
that
crazy good money, dude.
something you could, I imagine doesn't take a lot of years of education either. So, you get the on the job training with the military, and then you get out and get your degree, and then you go and be a dietitian.
Or you get your degree while you're in the military and you save your GI Bill for your kids.
Yeah, good.
That's the smart thing to do. That's the thing I wish I'd have done. I wish I'd have gone to like an online technical school while I was in the military instead of using up my GI Bill to do it. I'd be using my GI Bill to go to culinary school and do dumb shit that I want to do. Why are you going to culinary school? You want to be a chef? Well, yeah, that'd be cool, but no, I just want to know how to cook better. Isn't that expensive? Nope.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So another one that kind of breaks down and could be easily carried over. So in the Army, you just have military police.
Yeah.
And that's it. That could be a guard. It could be an actual cop. It could be a detective. It's just military police. Again, super generalized. Well, the Air Force has actual just correctional officers, prison guards.
Yeah, the Marines did too.
So that was another interesting one. Like if you're just really into that kind of thing, again, you go do it in the Air Force, get that veteran status, and then get out and go work at a prison.
I hate to break it to you though, correctional officers don't make a whole lot of money, unfortunately.
Well, it's not always about money. It's about what you like doing.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. If you love what you do, you never work a day of your life. A wise man once told me that, and I've lived by it my entire life.
Even though you're over here downing it.
I'm just saying it doesn't make a whole lot of money. I'm not saying you can't love it.
Yeah. But it's still cool. I like seeing that, because again, I spent my whole career just knowing military police. And like, that's it. It doesn't matter who work at a prison or the cops catching you speeding on post, or gate guard. You're just military police. That's it. Then next one didn't pull it very easily. I don't know if this one, if these were the weirder descriptions. No, wait.
Why 20?
Maybe not.
Gert, I've been reading this message for like 10 minutes now, and I just now understood what you were talking about.
Because we're wearing
the same color shirt. Yeah. Wow. That was, that took way too long.
I was thinking it was just something we said, and I'm like, I don't
know. That deserves a,
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Let's see if I can find these on the list here again. Oh my god, that is not what I copied and pasted. 12U1. There we go. Can I click on the... Oh, okay, cool. I'll just do that then. I went to just Google them one-on-one and couldn't find anything. So this one was pretty cool. And I know there was an MOS in the Army for it, but I don't remember seeing it on the list. But it's the 12 Uniform 1 is the like UAV pilot.
Oh, that would be a sick ass job, dude.
Yes, remotely piloted aircraft pilot. And that one jumped out at me because I saw a TikTok today of like a mini fighter jet. It was like the size of a go-kart.
Yeah,
I've seen those. Like the size of a car, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen those RC like fighter jets, dude, that are like massive.
Yeah,
dude.
I was thinking like getting to that point that could be what what the combat ships are.
Yeah.
So that'd be another one. Be kind of cool, and has a lot of. You can continue it in the civilian world a little bit, maybe not as easily transitionable as others, but just kind of cool.
Yeah.
I always thought the UAV pilots was a cool job.
Yeah, that would be dope.
The other one's right beneath it, which I was curious to look up. It's a 13 Alpha 1 is just simply listed as an astronaut.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only branch that has astronauts in the military. Is the Air Force. Yeah. So if you
So-
wanted to be an astronaut, you would need to join the Air Force. That's the program to do that, and like I looked into what it would take to do that in the Air Force, dude. Oh my god, it's insane. You have to be a pilot for like 10 years. You know, and then you have to like go up against thousands of other people that are trying to do the same thing and be like the best, like top 5%. You know, like it's one of the most difficult things to get in the Air Force, and it's like, man, that's one of the coolest jobs. That is the coolest job on the planet, dude. It's the coolest job ever. To be an astronaut, man. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to space.
Should have worked for it then.
No, man. No.
Yeah, pretty simple. It was command space shuttle missions, pilot the space shuttle, accomplish on-orbit duties, operate some Department of Defense payloads. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
Go be an astronaut in the Air Force. Let's see. What was the next one here? 15 Whiskey 1 was, oh yeah, a weatherman, basically.
Weatherman, yeah, meteorologist.
There's like 6 or 7 different kinds. Well, this one literally just says weather. It doesn't even say weather person or anything. But commands, manages, performs weather operations of Air Force, integrates, forecasts, atmosphere, space weather conditions because of the astronauts. So, yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's
you can go be a weatherman and then get out and try and get a job at the local news station. Or you'd be a tornado chaser. Who knows?
Amen.
Oh. No. He just happens to have one that I mailed to him, and then I have one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have the same 3D print. We're wearing the same shirt, same color shirt. Just yeah.
Totally not planned. I was literally wearing my normal generic white shirt right before this. The other one we briefly discussed off stream is the flight attendant.
Yeah, man.
Which was kind of interesting because where are you being a flight attendant? You know, like, is it on like a C-130 or something? I can't imagine like what you're being a flight attendant on.
I mean,
it
would probably be for like the government aircraft that travel that use civilian government employees. Congressman, president.
I guess if you think about like Criminal Minds, they have their own little jet that takes them around. So
yeah,
I guess there's probably things like that. But it's the pretty standard flight attendant duties, provides safety of passengers, plans, coordinates, manages cabin duties, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Experience in mission planning and management, culinary skills, supervising flight attendant.
Yeah, and
cool.
Yeah, Garrett brought up a good point also for like, general public. So if, the Air Force assists in like crisis relief and they have to fly people out of the country or wherever they happen to be.
I was thinking he meant like a general is the rank is what I thought.
Well, yeah, for generals, for
there's a lot of private chefs, private jets, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's a cool ass job, dude. That's a cool ass job.
Yeah. Makes me wonder if there's any kind of like super special requirements for that kind of stuff.
I always thought what Grandpa Klein did was like super cool. Like that's a dream job, being like a private chef in the military, dude. Where you get to cook like actual food and just not like 100 pounds of canned shit, Yeah,
you're not cooking everything in a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah, like man, that's the job I'd want. I'd want to work in the chief's mess or something, cooking actual food.
My next one here, I was just curious what it actually was. So it's a 1 Bravo 174.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Spectrum Operations Apprentice.
Interesting.
So it is the technician analyzes requirements and requests frequencies to support terrestrial aircraft and space systems and coordinate radio, radar, land, and other electromagnetic radiating or receiving requirements.
Interesting.
I read some thoughts. I might give a more simple explanation, but
That's something that's kind of similar to what I found one that I thought was really interesting and wanted to learn about. So,
it almost just sounds like a dang radar tech. That's not what it sounds like.
not to be confused, spectrum, not to be confused with speculum.
Okay. Totally. Let's see. Next one is 35 Papa 1. Wait. Oh, never mind. I already had that one up. I must have. Oh, that matches that first one I pulled up, but a different nomenclature. So public affairs again.
Oh,
We already went over. I guess I didn't recognize it. I put it on there from both lists. The 3 Echo 473. Ah, here we go. That was an interesting one. Pest management.
oh, that was like the one from the Navy, like the hygiene.
entomologist?
Well, entomologist and and hygiene officer or whatever.
Well, surprisingly, there's actually 4 different pest managements. I don't know if there's a difference.
Interesting.
So, manages, evaluates, and executes pest management techniques and associated pest management environmental compliance. Conduct pest management surveys. Yeah, you're literally just like
An
almost
entomologist.
like the bug and rat man going around the buildings.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I'm talking about, like the comparison between like Navy rates and Air Force rates. Like the Navy, you're an entomologist. Like you study the bugs.
Hey, Shane.
Hey Shane, thank you very much for the resub for 47 big ones, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
How many years does that go?
That is not quite 1 month away from 4 years. No, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, 4 years.
No, you're right. 4.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah. yeah. 1 month away from 4 years. Yeah. But anyway, like, they study it, they formulate the plans, they craft the different techniques, they make the, the stuff. And then you have like the guy that in the Air Force that all he does is takes the chemical and goes and sprays it.
Well, no, I mean, the airport, I said everything, conduct surveys and all that. But yeah, you're basically the Orkin man
Yeah.
for the Air Force,
Yeah.
But which I imagine
but
that's got to be a full-time job,
Well, yeah. I mean, but the entomologist, what I was saying is the entomologist in the Navy is the Orkin man and the people that the Orkin man gets all their shit from. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't imagine like that ever being somebody's choice, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe your dad did it growing up, and you're like, I'll go do it in the Air Force and get veteran status for it.
Maybe some people see, a business opportunity of it's like I'm going to do this in the military, learn everything I can, get out and make a pest control business.
Yeah,
happens all the time
from that point of view. Still, I never really thought about that. You imagine like every base just has hundreds of buildings.
Yeah, I figured that would be civilian. Like you'd hire like civilian contractors to come in and do all the landscaping and the pest control.
But you imagine from a cost saving perspective, you just train a couple dudes per base, and that's their whole 40-hour job, just going from building to building every month.
Yeah, true. Again, it's crazy because like a lot of the stuff that I thought was done by civilians in the Navy probably is done by civilians in the Navy, to be honest. It has like actual military jobs. It still amazes me even to this day that like a military base could effectively run itself as a city just off of military members with no civilian input at all whatsoever. Like every single job would be covered, right? Like it still blows me away to think about it. I mean, and it does. Think about a carrier, like an aircraft carrier has its own fucking zip code. And they are floating cities, literally.
My last thing to discuss isn't just one MOS, and I'm not going to pull them all up, but it was kind of tying back into the Air Force breaking it all down. And it was kind of interesting because the kids about to start her sophomore year of high school next year. And so she was picking out her classes this week. And we're trying to get her to think long term, like you should look at like what the senior year classes offer and see what the prerequisites are. So if you see a senior class you want, take the classes that are needed for it,
Yeah.
And trying to get her to think, more in the future, what are you going to do after high school, find classes that associate with that, And I was telling her, she should look at the Air Force jobs to figure out if there's anything in high school that would tie to the Air Force career and, just keep a whole chain of it going.
Yeah.
And one she's kind of looking into is like journalism and photography and graphic design and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's this whole list. They have broadcast journalists, graphic arts, still
Marines.
photography,
Marines
public
have the same
affairs.
thing, yeah.
I didn't realize they all kind of just repeat. So never mind, there's only like 5. But still, you have a graphics arts, photography.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that you can basically have a whole newsroom in a sense.
In the Marines, like, one of the sectors is like media. That's like the entire
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured the Army would have.
Yeah.
Media guy.
But no, like there's like an entire sector with like multiple different MOSs within the media sector. Like there's a lot. And I actually have one of them on my list, so.
Well, speaking of which, like I said, that was pretty much the last one on mine.
Yeah.
It was just that. I mean, there's a long list. Like, there's way more to dive into with the Air Force than there was the Army.
Yeah.
Like, then I might actually look more off the side, but those are the ones that jumped out at me.
Man, my company safety guy has a degree for it. Don't be that guy.
Dude, they have a historian.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I did the Marines, and I kind of had the same findings as you. Like there's so much more in the Marines. Like it's so much more specific in the Marines than it is in the Navy. And I talked about it a little bit off stream right before we started. Like there's the entire so again, the MOSs are 4 digits. The first 2 are like the category or the sector, and then the last 2 are that specific job. The entire 80 sector is miscellaneous, and there are there's a lot of them, and we could spend a week on just the ones in the miscellaneous category. A lot of these are stupid interesting, but I picked some that were interesting, specifically to me. And the first one I have up here is a 4641, which is a combat photographer. And I would lump that in with because there's another MOS which is a combat videographer, and I'm gonna kind of lump them two together here, because that to me is just that's a crazy fucking job, dude. Like, man, you're in the middle.
It's like the drummer boy,
right? You're in the middle.
Civil War.
You're in the middle of a battle. Bombs, grenades, fucking RPGs, rifles are going off all around you, and you've got these badass motherfuckers with guns around you, and you're running around with a damn camera, dude. Like,
hey, didn't we see that in Saving Private Ryan? Like, dude,
Yeah,
walking
dude.
around with the windy camera.
yeah, dude, like that shit's fucking terrifying. Like, look at that. This dude is in a fucking ballistic helmet with a bulletproof vest and a camera. Like, you gotta have some balls to do that, man. That's a hell of a job, dude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, somebody's got to keep track of history, right?
Somebody's got to do it, man. Somebody's got to do it.
I mean, nowadays, you can just strap a GoPro to everybody's helmet and just piece it together afterwards.
Marine combat photographers use digital cameras and equipment to take photos in a range of conditions and environments. This includes taking photos at night, in inclement weather, during battle operations, and underwater. Oh my goodness. So their photos may be used for civil affairs, intelligence gathering, investigations, research, recruiting, and for documentation purposes. So there you go. Marine combat photographer and videographers. Salute to them.
Imagine that in like the recruitment catalog. Like, there, you see this picture? You could be the guy doing that in the picture, or you could be the guy taking the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Choice is yours.
Just keep in mind which one's holding the gun. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, they both have a weapon.
The next one I picked up is a 2542, which is a Marine Corps Defense Message System Specialist. To me, I was like, so like the people that put up like the, construction on I-10 between, Sunday and Monday. Like,
I thought you said defense message.
well, yeah, but like, like the defense message system. So like, is that like the Amber Alerts and shit, or like the? But anyway, so that was
like Department of Defense.
These were my questions, right? So I added it in here, and I have a job detail, a very simple description. Defense message system specialists work in a vital message and communication centers in the FMF and at bases, posts, and stations. Duties include operating teletypewriters, optical character readers, tape transport, and terminal consoles, as well as correcting, retrieving, and logging in messages. So they literally are just like message senders, essentially.
Yeah.
Like if there's a billboard
like a
on
relay
base,
center.
yeah, if there's like a billboard on base that gives out pertinent information, well, those are the guys that put it up there. Thought it was pretty interesting.
Almost seems like a wasted MOS. It's something the Army clerk can handle.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna find my license while you're going over the next one.
Yeah. The next one I put up is a 0803, which is a targeting acquisition officer, typically held by warrant officers. The job detail is when I read the MOS, I was like, what I pictured in my head, I was like, oh, he's the guy who's like, yeah, those guys right there, shoot them. That's his job.
Kind of. A little bit.
But
not with his finger, but
he's just out in the battlefield, like this guy right here, him. But the job details says target acquisition officers advise the artillery commander on all survey, meteorological, and target acquisition radar matters. They supervise
radar targeting.
Yeah, they supervise the establishment, operation, and maintenance of the radar platoon and target processing section. They formulate, coordinate, and supervise the execution of survey plans essential to the proper employment of field artillery. So, yeah, they mark the mortar targets. Basically, this is what it seems like.
You ready to see how old I am?
Yeah, let's see it.
So, I'm gonna point this out. So first, if we can get it to focus on the year, maybe. Maybe not.
Don't dox
it's gonna
yourself.
focus.
Don't dox yourself. Make sure there's no PII on there.
Yeah, it don't matter. Oh, there it goes. 2006, 2007.
It's got your social. Take it off the fucking camera.
It's fine. My social's everywhere.
It's
Anyway. So, 2006 to 2007. How old were you at that time?
2006 and 2007.
Pretty sure you were still in high school.
No, I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, so you're in junior high.
Yeah, I was in junior high.
So you were in junior high.
Probably 15 or
This is how many vehicles I was authorized
13.
to drive.
I was 13. Okay.
God, there we go.
Everything. Yeah.
I have bulldozer, graders, not steamroller. What do you call it? Just a roller.
Yeah.
Not necessarily steam, but 10,000-pound forklift. Emergency vehicles like the ambulances. I had winter and cold weather training. I could drive with night vision goggles on, 3/4 ton cargo truck, the fuel tanker truck, the whatever that is, a 5-ton cargo truck, the dump truck. We had like a 20-ton dump truck, scrapers, scoop loaders, smaller forklift, trailers of any size, wet weather training, and then a couple other random cargo trucks. I was also hazardous waste certified, and then I had the semi trailer certified, and specifically for some reason a water trailer, as if that was any different than any other trailer. But I mean, I guess it is kind of, just get the water sloshing back. But you think if you could drive a dang fuel truck, you can haul a water trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was me at like age 19.
Hell yeah, dude.
Able to drive everything, which is also why during my first deployment, I was part of a crew to drive. So there was one team to drive everything off the boats, and then one group to drive it from the staging area there to like the next staging area. And we had to drive through a serpentine of concrete barriers. So I was jumping into vehicles I've never driven in my life, driving through a concrete serpentine. That was fun times. Yeah, all that at age like 19, driving like certified on like every single piece of construction equipment and semi trailers and dump trucks. Like,
Hell yeah.
and working on them all. So, good times. Now I've worked in tech support, and that doesn't mean shit.
The next one I have is one that I picked simply because of its civilian, after the military applications, and it's 0673, which is an applications developer, snap dev.
Well, I guess there's plenty of military apps.
Yeah, like that's your job. You just develop apps for the military. And it's like, man, when you get out and you're an app developers, a lot of app developers make like 6 figures, like base.
Yeah, but it's also one of those kind of niche positions, though. You have to find a job or a place that's willing to pay you that much.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. I'm just saying, people think like, oh, you're good with IT, you must be making bank. It's okay, but you can also just be a tier 1 technician. And entry level job. I mean,
Sure. But again, I saw like the huge, after the military potential there.
I mean, technically, you can work from home and do that job, Shane. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I was like, man, that's a really smart job to take in the military.
I mean, I'm sure you can take your airboat over the swamp and go to an interview and then come back home and work from home.
Yeah. And the last one I picked up is kind of similar to your radio sonar person.
Radarologist.
Yeah. But this one is a 0623, and it's a tropospheric scatter radio multi-channel equipment operator.
Okay.
Hell of a job title.
Yeah,
you have my interest. And so the job detail says the tropospheric scatter radio multi-channel equipment operator identifies Marines who are qualified to install, operate, and maintain at the first echelon multi-channel media equipment. Select troposcatter radio system location, create a troposcatter section bill of materials, operate a global positioning system, perform advanced operations of data transfer device, manage troposcatter radio system sites. So it's like it seems like a radio tower guy. Like you set up the communications for, you know, all the radio equipment. Make sure that everybody's radio is working no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Name it again slowly. Tropospheric scatter radio multi-channel equipment operator.
Gotta break it down for us slow folk.
Yeah. But again, that's like a job that you don't really think about. It's like you just assume that the radios work everywhere you go, but there's got to be a reason why, you know? Somebody's got to make those radios work for, you know, everywhere in the world. It doesn't just, it's not magic, you know?
I mean, it might seem like it to some people.
Yeah. Now with bass in my voice. Okay, hold on. Let me get in my equalizer here. I'll just crank the bass on it here.
You gotta use your big boy voice.
My big boy voice. Yeah.
I like biscuits and mustard.
Biscuits and mustard. Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna say it with bass? Come on. You gonna disappoint the crowd?
Yes, I am. You go. You do it.
Wow.
You
I
do
don't
it.
have it in front of me. How am I gonna do it?
Here. I'll put it up in front of you right here. Boom.
Oh, you got daddy to do your work for you?
There it is.
Baby, I'm gonna butter your bread.
There you go. It's on screen right there.
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
Oh shit! I broke it. There it is.
We're waiting. Come on.
All right. Tropospheric scatter radio multi-channel equipment operator.
That was cute. Need to get our what's that guy's name? I was thinking John Coffey. I can't remember his actual name. What is his name? Dang it. John Coffey. What's his name? Michael Clark Duncan. That's what we need to work on.
Michael Clark Duncan.
So we need to work on our impersonation.
I know that. Okay, yeah. I know him. He died.
Dude,
Yeah.
6'8".
Yeah, he died in 2012.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah,
Dang.
he was in the Green Mile. He was in Talladega Nights. He was in Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon is a hilarious scene, dude. That's when he
Yeah.
gets up on the doctor's table and he's like, "Does this look fat to you?" And starts dancing on the fucking table, stripping down. Like, that's right, you're my hero.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Like, I'm not fat. I'm 330 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal.
But yeah, let me see if I can pull up that miscellaneous list and see if I can pull some of those interesting ones.
Shane talking about goats still lower reminds me of Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo. She's like, lower. He's like, is this low enough for you? Oh, movies before some people's times, man.
Yeah.
God.
So, with an MOS, if you have an MOS of 8,000 in the Marines, you are a general service Marine.
It's basically your army infantry.
Well, no, that just means you do whatever the Marines want because the Marines have an infantry MOS.
Oh.
An 8,011 basic Marine with enlistment guarantee.
B-boy? Oh. I was thinking Bubble Boy.
Bubble.
Yeah, apparently I don't think I've ever seen that movie. Speaking of Bubble Boy.
Really?
Yeah, I watched like a full 2-minute clip of it and I was like, huh. That doesn't look familiar at all. Guess I just never seen that one.
Hmm.
That's tired, boss.
9051 is a Graves registration specialist.
That's oddly specific.
I guess your job is to just like register grave plots for deceased Marines.
You'd think that would be, just seem kind of like the mortuary person. You think they'd all just be tied into the
tied into
mortician,
like
kind
one
of thing.
job. Yeah, and then there's a 9666, which is a space operations officer.
I can occupy some space.
Yeah, I was about to say, but it's not an space occupations, it's space operations. Oh, look, 8866 space plans officer. The jobs for officers are definitely cooler.
Well, yeah. It's interesting. I just happened to Google weirdest job in the military, and comes up was the entomologist, which is actually Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Interesting.
Fun fact. Still don't think I could ever really do that. I don't know. I couldn't. I would love it. Like I said, as long as nothing's on me. But
Meteorology and oceanography officer.
I just feel like I'd have to constantly be filling out reports like, you killed another one? Yep, it touched me.
It touched me. Had to die.
Like, goat, you can't just keep killing the fucking specimens. Well, they need to stop touching me.
And if you touch me, I'm going to kill you. Back up. Is that a threat, Private? No, that's a promise.
So, I wonder if you saw this one in your Marines list. So we have Marine Corps Community Service Marines.
Yeah.
It's a full... At least saw a guy once in full uniform working the counter at the commissary or exchange.
Yeah.
Like made you double take and walk away confused. The Marine you saw was a 4133, a community service Marine.
Yeah. No, they're called MWR specialists, morale, welfare, and recreation. It is
MCCS, but
well, and it is called MWR. It's a again, it's a recreation program. So every naval base has and it's probably the same for Marine bases too, but every naval base has an MWR building on it, and the MWR building typically has, a bar or some pool tables, some
but
TVs.
that's not what these are. These, like I said, are
commissary.
You said there basically was only 100 of these Marines at any given time, and they're typically managers. So it's like the managers of the commissaries and shit.
Yeah. But the 4100 is a basic Marine Corps community service Marine. Yes. 4100 is that, but 4133 is an MWR specialist.
Yeah, maybe it's changed since they made this list.
Interestingly, anything with a 43 preface on their MOS in the Marines is public affairs. So they have journalists, combat correspondents, mass communication specialists, historical officers. Pretty interesting. An entire MOS listing for communication strategy and operations jobs. Like,
dude, here's one that's another one that only has 100 Marines, or less than 100. Is the ground sensor platoon.
Ground sensor platoon.
So
What do they do?
They implant sensors under the ground that monitor enemy movement.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, it says they still use them to this day, but in a fairly stealthy way. So that's pretty interesting. Operating a 5-man team, kind of like recon. They go out and put up these sensors everywhere to kind of track people. That's pretty cool. They're walking around like little spikes they're sticking on the ground and shit.
Yeah. So the I don't know if the Army or the Air Force or the Navy are the same way, but the Marines have an entire MOS just for being a linguist, and that's the 27. And
Oh,
depending
all
on
kinds of
yeah,
them.
yeah, and you're depending on which language you speak is a different MOS. So every language has its own MOS.
One of them I probably should have put on the list because it was a bunch of like cryptologists.
Yeah,
ones.
dude.
Again, one for each language.
Yeah,
And one was just a romance cryptologist. Maybe one if it was like the romance period, like
Romance
Renaissance or
languages.
something, or what?
romance languages maybe Spanish, French, or I mean
Maybe.
Latin, French. I can't remember what the other romance languages are. The Marines has a basic signals intelligence and ground electronic warfare operators as well. So I'm assuming that's kind of the same deal as like the sensor operators.
I don't know. I kind of wonder. I think it was on this one. Now I'm kind of curious since we have a little bit of extra time here. So, yeah,
Italian,
romance,
yes.
cryptology,
Italian.
romance cryptologic linguist. But what is romance? Well, it doesn't break down like what romance is. Now you're gonna maybe fall down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. The Marines has like an entire like utilities sector. So you can be like an electrician, an HVAC, utilities, plumber. You can do all of that. You can be you can be a formal school instructor. So you can be an actual school teacher for the Marines.
Well, I mean, because you have like the MOS schools, those are always soldier. That's more like a sub MOS kind of thing. I don't think you join as that. So I had to go and look up an actual just romance linguist, period, to try and figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it is like a kind of a multitude of languages.
Yeah.
Crazy. Romance languages are also known as Latin or Neo-Latin languages.
Yeah.
So it's just like older languages.
Well, I mean, they're like the Latin derivatives, which again I think are like Spanish,
Yeah.
Italian, French. Those are like the Romance languages.
It's kind of a crazy breakdown. Well, yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of those. But it says group of related languages all derived from vulgar Latin within historical times. There's all kinds of different definitions. You get one says Spanish, Portuguese, French,
Yeah,
Italian,
there's
Romanian.
There are 5 that are like main ones. Yeah.
But I think that more core definition was just a group of related languages from derivative from vulgar Latin.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian.
kind of, it's one of those things that's like, how many of those people could there even be in the world? You know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I watch this. I see it on TikTok all the time, and I see him on YouTube sometimes too. This guy, he'll go to these countries all over the world, and like speak their language to them, like crazy languages.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
He speaks like fluently, like fucking every language you could possibly think of. It's incredible. I saw this other channel the other day on TikTok. This guy, he goes around to like other countries, and he'll like find like a popular area, and he'll have like a microphone out, and he'll pull like strangers aside, and he'll be like, "Hey, speak in a foreign language to me, and if I can't guess what language it is, then I'll give you like $50." And this guy is right all the time. He like it's like how do you how do you do that? Like, how do you like,
Lots of practice and training.
dude? It's insane. It's insane.
Well, you don't simply learn it, Gert.
No,
Not unless you're born there.
you know who does know Mandarin and speaks fluent Mandarin?
No. You have
No.
to wait for me to answer?
Yeah, I'll wait for you to answer. No, you don't know.
I barely know anybody.
John Cena.
John Cena. John Cena knows and speaks fluent Mandarin.
Cool.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Why would I know that?
I just, listen. Yeah.
Why do you know
ask
that?
you ask why my memory is shit? It's because my brain is full of dumb shit like that.
Pretty much. Dang. Yeah, back to, I was about to close Michael Clark Duncan. He was only 54.
Yeah, he was. He's young.
Dang. That sucks.
Yeah. So was well no, I mean actually. How do you know if it's him if you can't see him? It's a good question, dude. It's a very good question. Is John Cena even real? You can't see him. It's true. These are the questions, people.
Just no catching up on some of Gert's messages. By extension, it touched you, you touched me. Bye.
Bye. English is, one of the hardest languages to learn.
Shit.
But
Even people that speak English all their lives still don't know how to speak it.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is English is just like a lot of other languages where, just because in America we all, we speak English, there's still different dialects of English. That's very, very, very true. Like just how there's different dialects in Spanish, like you go to Mexico and, each neighborhood has its own dialect and way of speaking. In America, it's the same way. Depending on where you are in America, the English speaking is going to be completely different.
And then you got just the degradation of society speaking English too. I literally, not to really. No, I guess I am making fun of somebody, but where I work, we get tickets via email and phone calls. And I support gyms, like workout gyms. And so we get calls and emails from both staff members and just people that go to the gym. And I get an email from a customer, like a gym goer, wanting to basically complain that they couldn't get the app to this gym to work. And it was, I want to say like 6 sentences altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in such broken English, improper grammar, improper words, improper tense, and like 30% of it was like tech slang and improper abbreviations, just every kind of like fuck up you can do with the English language was in this 6 sentences.
Well,
that I had to pull up 2 notepads side by side and become a translator to this message before I could work their issue.
I mean, do you know if they were native speakers or not?
Oh, they were.
I mean, that proves Shane's point, right? Like English is a difficult language because, again, like he said, there, and there. We have so many different like ways and meanings to the exact same like phonetic words. Like, it's tough. It's very tough.
Yeah, but like I said, some people just degrade it and don't try, And that's the kind of scary part of where some kids are going in society nowadays, where it's just like, man, it's already bad enough. Just like you said, getting through different dialects or language barriers and whatnot, and then you got the people that just seemingly aren't even trying, and you're like, come on, man.
I mean, here, like I'm gonna show this real quick. Let me make sure the audio works for it. Here we go. 2 minute and 50-second video.
Is it gonna get us flagged?
No.
Get down! Check it out! B-O-M-B, bomb! T-O-M-B, Tom, no, tomb! If T-O-M-B is tomb, that's boom, the bomb's over! But no, that's bomb, that's tomb, get ready, is this calm or coom? No, that's comb! And that's why spelling bees are only won by introverted little ugly girls. Because they're the only ones that got enough time to memorize this. C-O-M-B, comb. P-O-M-B, poem. No, poem is P-O with a E with a M. Now, P-O-E-M, poem. H-O-E-M, home. No, home is H-O with a M with a E. H-O-M-E, home. S-O-M-E, some. No, that's some. S-O-M-E, some. N-O-M-E, numb. No, that's
actually, I can
N-U-M-B. The
share
whole
this with you because
doggone
there's nothing
thing
that
is
actually-
dumb.
The whole doggone thing is dumb.
The whole doggone thing.
So yeah, that's the point. It's English is not easy. What do you got pulling up over there?
I'm about to share it to you so you can share with the class if you want. If we want to discuss the poor English language here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So not the first one. That's the translation.
Okay.
Copy. There we go. Had to figure out how to copy it. The hell? Okay. I'm going to do this a different way. Had to freaking take a picture of it. Bam. There we go. Finally.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Save image.
So you can should just be able to open in browser.
There we go. Yep, got it.
Alright.
Got it. Okay. So here is the translation.
Well, no, we don't need to show them the translation. We just want
Oh,
to show, like,
okay.
this is how somebody
All right.
wrote.
All right. Got it. Let me.
Class is waiting.
Yeah.
Class is in
Sorry,
session.
sorry, class. Sorry, children. Anyway.
All right,
All right,
chef.
here we go. Okay, description. Sorry, but your app is stupid. I click create account and it says to put phone or email. And when I do, it says, sorry, we don't have an account.
I like how you're filling it in, even though it's not what it actually says.
How can you? I'm trying to create literally. And the next option is I already have an account, which I don't because I can't create. How will I get to know about this gym and offers? How will I decide whether I should join it or not? Just saying thanks. I mean, okay, to be fair. Okay. I can read that. I read that just fine. Right?
I can too, but because I'm trying to solve a problem, I wanted to break it down to make sure I wasn't missing anything. But it's just like, man, you can't spell the word create to save your life because you never put an E at the end of it.
Yeah.
You can't, instead of account, you're not even abbreviating it correctly. You just said AC.
Yeah.
So I had to assume it was an account. And then you keep having all these, TI instead of two, just the letter N instead of and, using all kinds of acronyms like CZ and everything. The wrong spelling of weather.
Yeah, it's I mean, listen, it's a gym goer, okay? You either go to the gym or you read a book, okay? You can't do both.
Well, what's funny about this whole situation, though, is they were using the wrong app. Like, that was the reason they were having all this trouble. It's because you're using the wrong app. But right out the gate, they're like, sorry, but your app is stupid. It's
Oh,
like,
no.
no, sir. You're just using the wrong app.
It's like, no, as a matter of fact, I have it on good authority that you're stupid.
Well, not stupid, just ill-informed, And once I broke it down, that's how I explained it to him. I was like, oh, well, you're using the wrong app. I was like, here's the instructions to use the same app. Or the right app, But it's just funny, Always interesting how different people handle different situations. When you start your conversation with, sorry, this is stupid.
Yeah.
It's like really? You're not even going to say, hey, I got this problem. Just
Yeah, no, your app is stupid.
but it just reminds you of all the Karens and shit you see videos of, just walking in like, why is your company trying to screw me over? Like, hello. What's your name?
Hi, who are you?
So just one of those comical moments. And like you said, it was just funny. We're talking about, the breakdown of English language being one of the most difficult languages. And it's like, man,
some people aren't making it any easier.
pretty sure pretty soon there's going to be a cryptologist for broken English.
Yeah. But that's different. That's a little bit different, right? That's text. That's a whole different language all on its own, dude.
If you're texting your friends or family or something,
oh
sure,
yeah, in a professional
trying to get
setting,
help with something.
Yeah, in a professional setting. That's the thing that I think I can speak on the most is I don't necessarily think it's the breakdown of the English language. I just think it's the improper selection of when that's acceptable to be used.
Yeah.
Like, text your boss like that. I bet you fucking won't. Like,
it depends on where you work.
Right? Like, send a text like that to your manager and see how well that pans out. I bet you don't. So, like, why are you sending that into a business that you're trying to get help from?
Well, see, the problem is, in their defense, they think that's how everybody talks.
Yeah.
So they do think it's appropriate to speak to their boss like that until corrected.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that too. And
Yeah,
I've had to correct people like that, where they're like, they send me a sentence like that while I'm at work, and I'm like, first of all, I'm gonna need you to speak to me in complete proper English. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because for at least for my job, for my team, we have Microsoft Teams group that we're all in, and we communicate through GIF on that like all the time. Like, it's super informal, and our boss is in there, and it's great because she'll like bitch about shit just like we do. She'll bitch about stuff alongside of us, and that's great. But it's like
one of
whenever
your teammates
I'm like,
asks for help,
right? But whenever I'm like speaking to her directly, right? Like I'm sending her an email or I'm messaging her directly, it is always like as professional as I could possibly do. It's like,
well, but I'm saying even in that group setting, if you're asking the team for assistance with a problem, like you're probably speaking in full sentences,
oh yeah, 100%.
with not a lot of slang or,
well, I mean,
abbreviations or whatever.
To my account, I don't text like that anyway. Never have, never will. Right?
I mean,
like,
I don't use things like that, like not gonna lie or things like that, but I will use like slang or shorthand descriptions and words and whatnot.
The thing that bothers me about your casual, like writing process is your your lack of use of capitalization. It irritates the piss out of me. We'll be playing Ark or something, and he'll like name all the storage containers, and they're all lowercase, and it bothers the shit
That's
out
not
of
true.
me, dude. No,
I
that
normally-
is true.
no.
Yes.
I normally name them in all capital letters.
No. You do all
Yeah.
lowercase letters, and
No,
it
I
bothers the hell out of me.
I normally do all capitals, that way I can read it easier.
Well, but that's the thing. You either do all caps or all lowercase. You don't do like proper capitalization on shit if it's casual, and it bothers me.
But that's a whole different scenario, sir. If you're talking about naming boxes, I want it to be all capitals so I can read it easier. I'm not worried about grammar.
Well, we have a special guest, Mikey. Go ahead,
But no, yeah, I typically don't worry about, like, if you look at our just sentences back and forth in Discord, I almost never capitalize anything, and you do. So.
Yeah, like I don't know the way that I mean, you see how I message in Discord. I don't do that. You know, I
mean,
rarely
even your
ever do that
message-
shorthand stuff.
Even your messages today about doing Wailing Caverns, it's capital Isle, capital
Yeah.
Adam, capital Crash.
Yeah,
That's too much work, sir. That's an extra keystroke that I don't need to do.
yeah. No, I'm a very proper typer.
Well,
you
I'm-
know?
I am when it's needed. Like I said, when I'm talking to my boss one-on-one, it's proper English. If I'm talking to Dragon in Discord, doesn't matter.
No, it's the same for me everywhere, dude. You're gonna catch me slipping.
Oh yeah, I did already.
No, you will, but it's
Oh, I
minimal.
caught you twice right here.
I know.
Today twice.
I missed an apostrophe in aisle.
Mm.
I missed a comma after tunes. I missed a period at the end of until level 25. I mean, I get it. I'm not
Mhm.
perfect, you know,
Fucking
and I don't do it.
slacker.
I don't do it perfect every time, but it's a hell of a lot better than most people.
I read that as in a math. I mean, I like them all to an extent. Math was always not hard. Hard for me to like. Because I always looked at it like, unless I'm going to go into a field that requires this advanced math, what's the point in learning it?
Yeah, I didn't really like math. I hated geography. I was always like a big fan of like science and English. Those were my two favorites.
I like history, geography, English, all the other core classes. Just math, it was like, once it got into like the more advanced shit, I'm like, look, like that ain't my life right there.
Yeah. But anyway,
Even
with all that being said, that's going to do it for our time this evening. You guys know the drill at this point, right? Right.
Well,
You
we
know-
got a quick end of the stream question for you, though.
Okay, what's that?
So now that we've looked at all these MOSs, do you wish you could have did one of those instead of the one you did?
Can I answer your question with a question of my own?
You can always do that.
Okay. If I were to say yes, would that be under the context that even if I were doing a different job, I still would have met the same people, been to the same places?
Oh,
Done all that,
getting
just a
all
different
fucking
job.
psychological with it and shit. I'm just saying, yeah, assuming everything else remained the same, would you have rather did a different job?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, because I mean, I always say that just because of the fact that I had every one of those jobs available to me.
Yeah, me too.
But it was always more of a general answer. You know, I had such a high ASVAB, I could have did anything. I wish I would have chose something else.
Yeah,
It was
but
always-
never
it
really.
was-
It was never like specifically what else.
Yeah, I've never looked at the job list and thought, huh, what else could I have done? Like, so now that I see all these other options and stuff, and then especially even looking at the different branches, like, shoot, almost makes me wish I would have joined the Air Force and been a flight attendant or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Or-
mean,
Or be a bug person. You know?
I went to school for IT and cybersecurity, and it really wasn't what I was expecting. At least the IT field that I was looking into. Well, I mean, I blame that on the program itself, because I went in more interested in the cybersecurity stuff than I was in the IT side of things. So I would have gone into like cybersecurity, man. That just seems like a lot of fun, like pen testing and all that kind of stuff. Like ethical hacking, like that shit is cool to me. That's really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And so I
Plus,
feel like
there's-
I might have done
The
something
sky
like
was
that.
the limit with my ASVAB, and it's
yeah.
like, man, looking at all these jobs now, I'm like, dang, I could have did
You
that.
really
or
cut
that,
yourself
or
short,
That,
yeah.
Or that, and like, instead, no, it's just
Yeah.
a bullshit mechanic.
Yeah,
Like, not
really
even a
cut-
cool mechanic, just a. Well, I mean, it was construction equipment at first, so that part was cool. But
Yeah, really cut yourself short.
lots of crazy shit I could have did. But it is what it is.
More to think on for the next time. But anyway, again, like I said, you guys know the drill. Make sure you follow us here on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're an Amazon Prime member, use your Prime subscription. Here it is free for you, but every single Prime subscription takes money out of Jeffrey Bezos's pocket, so he can't launch another penis-shaped rocket. I believe on standing by that permanently. Subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Facebook, join our Discord. We've got an ARC server up and running. We're looking for people to jump on and test it, play it out, help us stress test it, help us optimize it. We're always open to suggestions. If you want to see cool things in the server, mods, different shop items, we're open all the way for ideas.
And if you're looking for new games and stuff, the Humble Bundle link there down below
Yes.
also gives us a portion, and they have a whole bundle of Souls-like games.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, if you haven't messed around with Humble Bundle before, I definitely suggest you go in there and click around, man. It's cool. Every month there's different bundles, and it's not just games. They've got books, they have software, they'll have like tabletop game files sometimes. They'll have, if you're, what's the server name in ARC? It's going to be ARC Survival Ascended, not Survival Evolved. But the server name is RUM-Arc ASAQOL.
Pretty sure it's Rum-Gaming.
Rum-Gaming. Yeah, Rum-Gaming.
ASA.
ASA plus QOL.
Yeah, if you just look for rum, you'll find it.
Yeah,
There's
you'll find
not
it.
very many rums on there.
Yeah, you'll find it. But yeah, I mean, if you're into like, music making, Humble Bundle always has really, really cool music plugins and sample packs and things of that nature. There's, app development stuff, coding stuff. They'll have.
Yeah, right now they got learn how to code,
Yeah,
learn how to use
all the
Linux,
time.
learn how to use Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, they have those like, learn how to use these different program courses on there for super cheap all the time. So it's a really great deal. You can get 5-6 games for $5 in some cases, man. It's really, really cool. But yeah, that's going to do it for our stream. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and we will see you next week. Goat, what are you going to be streaming tomorrow? Are you going to tell the stream about your little mishap on your normal stream game?
No.
No,
But,
no.
I don't know. Might be playing Ark.
Might be playing Ark. And maybe I can convince you to hop on some Tarkov. Maybe a little bit of turkey.
Probably not.
No,
It'll be Ark, Dead by Daylight, Call of Duty,
Minecraft.
Minion Masters.
Minecraft. No Minecraft.
No, I've never played Minecraft.
All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you later.
Yep. See y'all tomorrow and next week.
Yes, Dark and Darker. Damn it, Shane. It's an extraction looter, kind of like Tarkov, but it's medieval, so there's wizards and warlocks and rogues and rangers.
Came
Pretty
out
fun.
early access in August.
Yep, I have it. It's free. Well, I don't know. It's not free to play, but it was. Well, I got it when it was free because I played it in beta. But anyway, have a good night, everyone. Good night. Good night.